In this episode, Philosopher or F1, Urus or RSQ8, and oil leaks. Welcome to episode 277 of the We're Auto Show. What's up, Derek?
Mr. Michael Rowell. In the past, we have done a little game show where you got to guess the brand or the car, look at logos, and guess the brand kind of thing. I have another quiz for you today.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
Okay, so this one is Philosopher or F1 driver. So it's going to be a name, and you have to say either it's a philosopher or it's an F1 driver.
Okay.
So we're going to figure out how many F1 drivers, historic, most of them, do you know their names?
I will do my best. I'm not super optimistic about some of these because I can see some of the names already, and I'm a little worried.
For example, the first one is Niki Lauda, which we know that he is an F1 driver. So I'm going to say F
driver.
there. Jensen Button.
F1 driver.
Uh-huh.
David Coulthard, F1 driver.
Uh-huh.
Emmanuel Kant.
Emmanuel Kant.
I'm leaning philosopher.
I've never heard of him. We're going philosopher.
Okay. Mikhail Foucault, I believe. I don't know. Philosopher?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we're right so far.
I feel like John Locke was an F1 driver at one point.
I don't know, but I'm going to take your guess here.
Okay. Ooh, I was wrong.
Wrong.
Arthur Schopenhauer.
Never heard the name.
Philosopher?
Never heard the name.
Okay. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I don't know. Was that an F1 driver maybe? Sounds F1-ish.
Jean-Jacques. I've never heard the name. I think if we've never heard the name, we go philosopher.
Let's go philosopher.
Oh,
we're right.
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton. Well, is he actually a philosopher nowadays? He kind of might be a philosopher these days.
In this quiz, no.
Okay. Jim Clark, F1 driver,
F1
easily.
driver?
Yep. John Dewey. What do you think?
John Dewey. That's a good
F1
name.
driver. Isn't that Adrian Newey's dad?
Is it?
I thought so.
I don't
no,
know.
I'm Newey, not Dewey.
Yeah. I don't think so. I
Maybe
think he's a philosopher.
Philosopher?
Yeah.
Right. Nigel Mansell, the eyebrows
F1
of
driver.
destruction, F1 driver. Kiki Rosberg, is that F1 driver? Is that Nico Rosberg's relative? F1 driver.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Champion, too.
Champion.
William James. That's my dad's first name and my grandfather's first name.
Wow.
Weird. I don't know. Philosopher, maybe? No idea.
Okay.
Sebastian Vettel.
F1 driver.
F1 driver. Thomas Aquinas. Philosopher.
Nice.
Martin Heidegger. Philosopher.
I've never heard of him.
Emerson Fittipaldi. Obviously racer.
F1 driver.
Rene Descartes. Philosopher.
Think so.
Yes.
Ooh.
Noam Chomsky. I think that's a philosopher as well. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Mika Hakkinen. Obviously driver.
F1 driver.
Ludwig Wittgenstein.
I would assume philosopher.
Okay.
Yep.
Friedrich Nietzsche. I don't know. I feel like that sounds kind of familiar.
Doesn't sound
Philosopher?
familiar to me.
Philosopher. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Jean-Paul Sartre.
Jean-Paul Sartre.
I don't know.
Philosopher.
Try it.
Yep.
Okay. Kimi Räikkönen.
F1
Racer.
driver.
David Hume.
I think philosopher.
Let's go philosopher.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Jeremy Bentham.
I think philosopher. Never heard of him.
Okay. Albert Camus.
Also
Camus.
never heard of him.
Okay, I had no idea. Damon Hill, obviously racer.
Okay.
Thomas Hobbs. That sounds like a racer name, but I don't know.
Hobbs, I think is a racer name, but I don't know the first name. Philosopher.
All right. Nelson Piquet.
F1. Fernando Alonso.
Well, God.
Ayrton Senna.
God.
Michael Schumacher.
God. Baruch Spinoza.
Philosopher. Yeah.
Jacques Villeneuve. Driver.
F1.
Alain Prost. Driver.
F1.
Francis Bacon.
Gotta be philosopher, right?
Think so, but I might be wrong here. Okay, we're right. James Hunt.
F1.
Driver. Jackie. Okay.
Sir
if you were
Jackie
not,
Stewart.
yeah, I was gonna say, if you aren't into the racing world, is Jackie Stewart a male or female?
I don't know, but we got one wrong, which was John Lockett.
You know what? Up top.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Average, as you see, is an 86% here. So we were way above the average at a 98%.
We are geniuses.
Pretty cool.
We're
I thought-
absolute, utter geniuses.
I thought that was a funny quiz, nonetheless.
That's a fun one because I want to do this with my wife.
Okay.
I want to do this with my wife and say, okay, what do you get?
I don't think it will be a 98 for sure.
I don't think so.
But the headline, Philosopher F1 driver, kind of just like, oh.
I want, because a lot of F1 drivers, they sound like a philosopher. Like, for example, if you were talking to someone that didn't know any better, and you said a name like Emerson Fittipaldi, that sounds very regal.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Or, let's see, Nelson Piquet, right?
I don't know. Is there an F1 driver name on there that is not a philosopher name? I think they're all.
James Hunt. James Hunt sounds like the name of a man that's a plumber.
I think to us it does, but I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, so how about this? Are there any philosophers that sound like F1 drivers?
All of them. No,
think
not
so?
all of them.
I think Jean-Jacques Rousseau sounds like a driver.
I could see Ludwig.
Yeah, I could see, let's see, René Descartes.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's F1 sounding.
Friedrich Nietzsche.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is quite F1 sounding. I'm noticing most of the French and or German ones sound like they're F1.
Yeah.
If they're not French or German, they don't sound F1. Like Albert Camus, that does not sound F1.
There was only really one on there that was an F1 driver that we properly didn't know, and I'd never
John
heard of.
Locke. Yeah. And you know what? Now that we're talking about it, I feel like I should have known that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That was a good one.
I wish they would have put Olivier Panis on there, because that's one that most people would think that's a philosopher.
Yeah, but we would have known off the top of our head.
Would you have noticed Olivier Panis?
Yeah, I would have known that name.
Think so?
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if there's other quizzes out there that are like IMSA related or that kind of stuff. Because you can do this with any kind of motorsport. It doesn't even have to be F1.
It is true.
Yeah, because all of the most motorsports names are kind of European or that kind of thing. Although
Yes,
NASCAR
like
would be.
Jan Halen.
Yeah, that's a philosopher name.
How about this? Bubba Wallace.
That's not a philosopher name.
What does the... Okay, I'm going to catch some flack here.
Uh-oh.
What does the name Bubba Wallace sound like you do for a
Bubba
living?
Wallace? I think he's a welder.
A welder?
Mm-hmm. I think he works in the metal industry.
I think he's a diesel mechanic.
Sure. Anything like physical, right? You're physically working on some metal or
Coal miner?
building houses. I don't know.
You think coal mining?
Coal mining? I think coal mining's like getting old now. Do they still like send people way down to coal mine?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like these sportical quizzes though. I'll put the link on this one in the description.
It's
if
fun.
you want to go give it a whirl.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, what did you see while you were out and about, buddy?
I saw two things, and two things that I think we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
The one that I'm going to use as my spot of the week is the Audi RSQ8.
Okay.
Which is similar to all the things like a Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, a Lamborghini Urus, the Mercedes, what's the big slopey backed Mercedes? The GLCBAFGHI 63 AMG, that one.
Uh-huh.
The BMW X8M. It's all the same kind of thing, right? It's a slopey backed SUV, big thing that goes quickly.
Yes.
And I saw the RSQ8, and I gotta say, the RSQ8 is a pretty one.
It is pretty well. Yeah.
Of all that kind of thing, I really like the RSQ8's proportions.
Do you like it the most?
See, that brings me to my other thing, which I think you may steal as your spot of the week.
Yeah. So your other car that you're talking about here would be this, which is a Lamborghini Urus Performante.
Yeah, I saw a new Urus Performante in purple. A purple Performante.
We just so happen to have both of these in green, which is kind of cool because you can really compare the exterior looks.
Yeah.
And honestly, I kind of like the Audi better.
So let's go by facts and figures. Okay. I'll go for the Audi. You go for the Lamborghini.
Okay.
Now, the Audi doesn't really have a hotter version of the RSQ8, whereas the Lamborghini has the hotter version of the Urus, which is the Performante.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the specs that I'm going to be talking about.
Yeah, and that's also the other one I saw, too, so it works.
Okay.
The RSQ8. Now, keep in mind, they both have pretty much the same kind of, a 4-liter twin turbo V8, pretty sure.
Yes.
Yep. So they have pretty much the same engine. But in the RSQ8, you get 591 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. Your 0 to 60, 3.2 seconds. 100 mile, 8.1 seconds. Quarter mile, 11.6 seconds at 119. Base price, call it 114. And then Car and Driver, when they tested it, was 138 and change.
Okay.
So let's play a game of top trumps.
Solid figures. But if we jump over to the Lambo, to give some context here, it's around 8 or 70-ish horsepower higher. It's 657.
Okay.
70-ish horsepower more. For torques, it's about 30 horsepower, or 30 torques more. 627 versus 590.
Okay.
So a little bit more. Same engine, same displacement, same type of engine. I think it's actually just like the same engine plucked and then
Just different tuning.
I think it's a different tune, and that's about it. 0 to 60, 3 seconds as opposed to 3.2 seconds. So
Okay.
0.2, whoop-de-doo, it's not that big a deal. At 100 miles an hour in 7.2 seconds as opposed to 8.1.
So almost a second difference.
Almost a second. That kind of matters.
That's quick.
Okay. Quarter mile, 11.2 seconds versus 11.6 seconds for the Audi.
That's 0.4.
That's not a lot. That really doesn't make much of a difference. The price, though, is a bit of a different ball game.
Is it?
Yes.
How
This
much of a
Lamborghini,
different ball game is it?
Your Audi that you were looking at, base price 113. Base price for the Lamborghini 268.
Holy shit!
$268,000.
That's
base.
what, 140 grand more?
It's more than double. It's like 1.2 times more or 1.3 times more. Yeah. For the performance figures that we just talked about.
Wait. What's the price as tested of a Urus Performante?
$342,000.
You were going to gloss right over that, weren't you?
It is $342,000.
So, hold on a minute there. So, once again, let's play top trumps. Just to remind each other. Your power was what?
657 horsepower.
Mine was 591. Your torques were how many?
More.
What were they?
627.
Mine were 590.
But they're more. Ours are more.
They are more.
It's
Yes.
over here, it's more.
Your 0 to 60 was how many seconds?
3.
And mine
Flat.
was 3.2. So 0.2 of a second difference, right?
It's faster.
Quarter mile. You did yours in
2.7 or 7.2.
quarter mile?
Oh, 11.2.
Okay. My quarter mile in the RSQ8 was 11.6. Your base price was how much?
$268,000.
My base price was about 114,000.
Okay.
What was your prices tested?
342.
My prices
That's
tested
insane.
was 138. That is $200,000 difference.
Yeah.
That's that's the price of a GT3's difference. You could get the RSQ8 and you could get a GT3 for the cost of a Urus Performante.
But the street cred.
The Urus Performante is freaking sick.
Yeah.
It looks the business. But it's really expensive.
It's way too expensive.
It's really expensive.
It's a Lamborghini, though. Like, okay, you're going to buy an Audi, right? Which means you just fit into the banking sector. Or you buy a Lamborghini, which means you're just off the rails. You don't fit in anywhere. You just do your own thing.
You are the square peg in a round hole.
Yes. You don't. You own 5 companies, or you owned 5 companies, and you just do whatever you want now.
There's that.
The Audi blends in. The Lamborghini sticks out.
You're right.
That's the difference.
You're
The Audi
totally
blends
right.
in.
The Audi blends in. So I guess do you want to do? Do you want to blend or do you want to stick out?
I don't know, but I think if you're trying to stick out, you don't really care how much it costs.
You don't give a shit.
No.
It's irrelevant to you at that point.
And you just put down the money it takes to stick out.
I mean, look at the Lamborghini, the carbon hood, the carbon everything.
Yeah, the edges are crazier. All the angles are wild. I
got to admit, the Urus Performante looks that much more exciting than the standard Urus.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen a lot of the standard Urus, but the Performante does have a lot more angles and fins and anger to it. It does have more presence, for sure.
Is it $300,000 worth of presents?
I don't know.
I don't know either. You know?
I love it, but
That's a lot of money.
it's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Now, we're also talking from the perspectives of two not wealthy individuals currently.
Yeah.
If you had a net worth of many millions, I guess it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. And I think that that's the point of these two cars. I do think that this is a great value. The RSQ8 is a good value.
If you're looking for bang for your buck, I don't actually know that you can get a better value than the RSQ8 for that segment.
Yeah.
For that segment of, if you consider the Urus, the BMW X8M, the big Mercedes slow-speed one, the GL something AMG, the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, I kind of think the RSQ8 is absolutely by far and away the biggest bang for your buck of that market.
You're getting a Lamborghini Urus that blends in.
Well, you know what's really funny? You know what the RSQ8 is actually nicknamed as?
What?
The Porous.
The poor Urus.
Yes, the Urus for the pores.
The poor man's Urus.
Yeah.
It's fitting. Yeah. I mean, same engine, basically same specs, but vastly different price.
It's funny how that works, too.
It's just branding. It really is just brand. The amount of money that it actually takes to produce that Lambo is like maybe $30,000, maybe. Just profit. Just profit, baby.
Money, 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 money.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's our fun little debate about the RSQ8 or the Urus.
Yeah.
I like them both. Depends on your goals.
It exactly depends on your goals. Do you want to stand out?
Or do you want to blend?
Because if you want to blend, you know the right choice.
Yes, correct.
So, do you have an I wish they would have to wrap us up?
I do. So, recently, there's been some spy images and sound clips of Lexus/Toyota testing a new GT3 race car. Now, not to get too deep into the racing rabbit hole here, because this isn't necessarily a racing episode, but we know that Toyota wants to have some sort of GT car to take with them at Le Mans, right? As Toyota is in the hypercar class of the World Endurance Championship. Mm-hmm. And if you're in the World Endurance Championship in the hypercar class, you automatically pretty much get a seat at the GT car table.
Yes.
Right. And it's a long story to get in my wish to would have here, but the GT3 car that they're actively testing it's kind of its own thing. There's not really a name for it yet. It's just this. It's a thing. It's a Lexus E Toyota E GT3 race car thing. It just looks like a sports car that has a whopping great V8 in it.
Right. Got a big front nose to it, which doesn't really match a lot of either Lexus or Toyotas. Maybe a super kind of front end.
It's weird, right?
It's odd.
Yeah. So here's my beef with that car. That car is a racing version of a future electric vehicle that Lexus or Toyota is going to put out. Electric vehicles don't have a great big thumping V8. And when I heard the sound clip, it was a big V8.
Yep.
Right? So I wish that Toyota/Lexus would have just made the Supra into a GT3 car.
Yeah.
Versus trying to make this weird new odd race car that kind of has street car things, but kind of isn't, but kind of isn't thing. I just wish they would have made the Supra a GT3 spec car.
This is the first that I know of the era where GT cars are EVs and race cars don't want to become EVs.
Yeah.
So, if the solution to this problem is put a big old lumping V8 in it and just make it a great looking, sounding, awesome race car, all right. Sure, it's far different from what we're used to with like GT3 homologation, and the car has to look the part and have most of the same parts and specs and all that kind of stuff. It's far different from that, but I'd rather we go down what we're about to go down, right? Where it's like, okay, just build your Frankenstein race car. I don't really care because it's not going to resemble the road car at all. Keep the race car as an ICE engine because it's not going to do well as an EV.
It's going to be horrible as an EV.
You can hybrid it, sure, whatever. That's fine.
They already do that top class.
Right. You look at the IMSA GTP class, and it's kind of cool that they're hybrids.
Yeah.
They sound neat. They drive far different. There's engineering involved. That's cool.
The Cadillac particularly sounds really cool because it just sounds angry.
But I'd rather have that happen than them go down the homologation rabbit hole with an EV.
Yeah, I agree. I just wish they wouldn't try taking this EV and homologate it into a V8 version of it. I just wish they'd made the Supra a race car.
That does make more sense.
It would have just solved so many more problems. And then it would have also been able to essentially bring Lexus and Toyota way quicker into the GT world, because underneath the Supra is literally just a BMW sports car.
Right.
You have all the factory support with the BMW race teams like Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not just take the inline six, the twin turbo inline six, beef that up, give it more aero? Ta-da!
There's got to be something else going on there. Maybe like BMW told them you can't do this kind of thing because you're using our engine. I don't know. Maybe there's some corporate politics being played here, but it doesn't make sense to me that they wouldn't just GT3 the Supra.
Yeah.
Like, sure. I don't think you do it to the GR86. I think it's too small, too slow.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't
That'd
fit
be like
that
a Miata
class.
GT3 car.
Yeah, it doesn't fit that class. I think the Supra is the one that they should do.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just nitpicking, but
that's a good one.
So there's my wish would have. Do you have one?
I do. I wish you didn't have to change the seal around the oil drain plug. I think it's the oil drain plug gasket. You know how every time you pull that little bolt off, there's a little seal there.
Yeah.
I didn't change mine last time.
That little rubbery piece that's right there.
Yep. And mine's leaking.
How bad?
Very, very slowly. Like 5 drops a day. Extremely slowly.
Have you tried pushing the car at all?
What do you mean?
Like getting on it?
I don't think so. Not since I've changed the oil. You think it's going to go?
I hope not.
No, I don't think it will. Although
It's not pressurized down there, is it?
When the engine's running, yeah, I believe so. Yeah. I think the whole system is.
So does it need that gasket
Although
to keep
that's a
good
reservoir.
seal?
I don't know.
You see my point.
Yeah, I see your point. I've checked it after I've driven the car. It's not down on no oil.
Okay.
So I'm not too worried about it. But I wish that was like a rubber gasket that you didn't have to change all the time.
It just stayed there and it was good.
Yeah. It seems like you should be able to do that at this point. So I don't know.
I tend to agree with you.
I wish it was easier. Now, the real catch-22 is how do I change it out? Because I think I'd have to drain all the oil out to change it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, which I'm like, oh, man, there's no...
You're going to have to do an extra oil change, aren't you?
I think so. I think it'd either be that or, like, quickly plug it. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions to, like, take that off, quickly plug it, and then change the seal and put a new one in.
I know how you do it.
How?
You take the car, turn it upside down.
Yes.
Then all the oil is going the other direction. And then you can pull it out, plug it, and then you flip the car back over, and it's good.
Have you tried your anti-gravity device yet?
Obviously.
That would solve my problem.
Obviously.
Right. Gravity is a pain in the butt.
Obviously. Right? I mean, just anti-gravity, just the oil pan. Just boop.
Problem solved.
It would work great, wouldn't it?
I wish they made anti-gravity
Okay.
machines.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you're going over the Sunshine Skyway Bridge and you're now in a flying car.
To the moon.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's all I got for episode 277. You got anything else?
I do not.
Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a thumbs up, drop a comment, and subscribe to the video. Let us know. What do you think? Would you rather go RSQ8? Would you rather go Urus? Where would you go with it? What do you prefer? We'd love to know your thoughts there. And if you're listening on audio only, send us those thoughts via social. Facebook is We Are Auto. Instagram is WeAreAuto_. YouTube is We Are Auto. And our website is weareauto.io. So, thanks again. Catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.